Okay, taking a big breath in, everyone together, inhale. And exhale. The next hour is for you to get motivated, empowered, and educated on flow state. Another big breath in, inhale. And exhale. So today's workshop title is How to Get Less Busy So You Can Train Like a Warrior. If you'd like to access the link to the document, you can see it in the chat notes. I recommend taking some notes in your journal so that you can remember some of the stuff. And I'm going to cover a lot of content. My goal is to give you more than you can take in one session and to inspire you if you're in a stage of change where you're ready to take action and you're ready to be held accountable to take part in our 21-day reset project, which is an opportunity to train with us live at the Flow Shala. So that being said, let's start off with what is the warrior archetype. And you guys can each share. We'll go around. There's only 5 in this workshop, which is awesome. So tell me, what does the warrior archetype mean to you, and what does it embody to be training like a warrior, or to be acting like a warrior, or showing up like a warrior in your life? And let's start with Jennifer, and feel free, Jennifer, to just share how you came to Flow Shala or how you know this body of work. It'd be sweet if you can just share a bit about that as well. And we'll go Tammy after Jennifer.
Well, I've taught yoga for a long time, and strength training, and I don't know, just lots of Ayurveda. I'm training Ayurveda too. I found Summer. How did I find you? I don't remember how I found you. I don't know. I think I just started seeing your videos when you were doing club bell yoga, and I became fascinated with incorporating the strength training with the yoga together. And I'm actually an occupational therapist, and Summer is a kinesiologist. So I was really excited about that and how she talked about the body. And I used a lot of her work. I know how I found you, from Scott Sonnen, because I was using Scott Sonnen's, gosh, it's been a long time. I was using Scott Sonnen's work for mobility with some of my patients. And then that's how I found out you were doing club bell yoga. So I went and I trained with club bell yoga with Summer at Doe Bay in Washington. And it was beautiful. It was amazing. I live in Texas, Houston, Texas, and I'm not teaching, of course, with COVID. I'm actually not doing therapy anymore either, which has been a big transition for me this last year. I just took a job with a rehab hospital, but I'm actually a marketing liaison instead of a therapist.
So what does warrior archetype mean to you in your current setting? Because I know you're working in COVID. What's it mean to be a warrior?
In my current setting, it's very challenging being in marketing compared to being a therapist. And I've had to get a lot thicker skin, but still maintaining my heart presence with people. So I think that's kind of like my daily battles, is not to give in to the, it's just about the numbers game. You know, it's not really about helping people. It's just about the numbers, got to get people in the door, blah, blah, blah. For me, the reason I do this job is because I saw too many people falling through the cracks in our healthcare system. And I know my hospital is one of the best rehab hospitals anywhere in the country. And I feel strongly about that. And so I want to get people the help that they need. So for me, being a warrior is like a champion for those people that are falling through the cracks of Medicare. So.
Awesome. Well, I hope that we can take that warrior mentality into your home practice as well. So just to keep things super concise, let's do 1 to 2 sentences about how you know about the Flow Shala, and then 1 sentence about what it means to be a warrior, what the warrior archetype means to you. All right, so Tammy, and then we'll go Angela.
I found you through Trina, and I've also been doing some strength training kettlebell stuff in my practice, and that has caused me to realize that to be a yoga teacher, to hold space for my people, I need to be a warrior, to be a lot stronger than I've felt lately.
Awesome. Cool. Thank you so much for being here. And on that note, would you mind grabbing those 3 Mace over there just so we can have those handy? Angela and Laura.
So I came to Flow Shala because I had a friend who was a member, and so I started by doing the 21-day reset challenge for Shala and have since transitioned to being a member. And then as for the warrior archetype, it's not something I really see in myself. It's something I see as like this enduring strength that I want to have, but I haven't really accessed. So it's a part of myself I'm hoping to tap into.
Awesome. Cool. Thank you so much for being here. And we'll go Laura and then Roxanne, and then I'll share my idea of what a warrior archetype means.
Hi, I'm Laura. I'm really thankful for everything being on Zoom right now because in Minnesota, I wouldn't otherwise have an opportunity to learn about your methods. I found you through Trina's workshop. I took a workshop with her with Yoga International a few weeks ago and got on her email list that way. I would say that I've trained like a warrior so hard that I beat it out of myself. And I've run many marathons and trained for them in great succession. And for the last 2 years, I've pretty much done nothing because I just got so burned out. So like Angela, I'm hoping to like achieve it again, but it's gone right now.
Overtraining is super common amongst athletes, especially when you're training conventionally. And everything we do at the Flow Shala is recovery-based training. And so we're really training the opposite of the stress response. So don't worry, there's definitely a solution to it, but doing the same thing and expecting different results, is the definition of what.
Yeah, and that's why I needed something different, I think, because I just couldn't do it again.
When you get your hands on these tools, I'm just going to demo or just show you. This is the modern rendition of an ancient weapon called a gada. And we train everyday people to get competent with tools. And there's something within us that knows that this is what our ancestors used to protect and to create fire and to protect our families and to chop wood and all these functional activities that really make us human. And so you'll find as you put your hands on a mace, it's really, really empowering because it taps into that inner warrior archetype. And it is not wooey, it's actually like really feeling competent at it. Roxanne, tell us about your warrior archetype. Oh yeah, and how you came to train.
Oh gosh. Well, I met Summer actually as an interviewee for a doula when you were pregnant with Cedric.
Yes.
And then I got curious about who she was, so I looked her up and found out that she did this club bell thing. And I've been practicing yoga since I was 20, but I also was really enmeshed in like bodybuilding, strength, that kind of like conventional training. And so I went to a club bell yoga certification weekend, and I want to say I was cured. It all came together for me, and I was lit on fire. I was super excited. So I've been a personal trainer for 7-8 years and just came back to the Flow Shala. I started when she was in another building, and then I came back because this is where my home feels like. I totally relate with you, my dear Laura.
Yeah.
I pushed myself for so long, and I still am getting over that idea of pushing myself. In the last 3 years, I had a complete shift in relationship with myself and realizing that the push was actually a fear-based experience. And so for me, warrior I'm redefining it to be a warrior for myself and my self-care and my mental and physical and spiritual health. So when I think of warrior and when I use my mace, it really is, it's a very integrated experience, body, mind, and spirit. So that's a warrior to me is, holding space and being the protector of the good.
Beautiful, I love it. Let's see, I came to understand this body of work of flow state through my original coach, Scott Sonnen. I wrote his name in the chat bar if you want to do any research on him on YouTube. He's got tons of videos, and he's the founder of TACFit and also founder of the Club Bell and Into Flow, which is a demonstration I will lead today. It's joint mobility for joint health. So I really feel that training with the mace allows me to tap into sort of like this warrior goddess energy. And I've actually noticed in myself, my voice has gotten more confident. I don't stutter as much. I used to have the quietest voice. Whenever I taught yoga, people would be like, I can't hear you. Or whenever I do corporate wellness, they couldn't hear me. And so it's really allowed me to open my throat energetic center a lot and to have an expressive practice. Before, I think I was really well versed in yoga, and I kind of got burnt out on just knowing even club yoga because I'd peaked at it. I understood all the movements. I needed something to keep allowing me to progress. And so I created the system called Steel Mace Vinyasa, and you can check that out, steelmacevinyasa.com. I'll just type it here in the search bar. There are 2 online courses that I've produced there, which are literally demonstrating how to use this tool. There's 6 different flows, 6 workouts, 6 matching flows for each course, and there's 2 courses, so 12 total. But yeah, it's just allowed me to tap into a more expressive, goddess-like energy that I never really had before. And people, when they see me, they tell me that I've changed and that they can see that in me. So I know that you guys can get those same results if you practice consistently and you really own your practice. And that every time you step on your mat, it's like a CEO moment, check-in moment with yourself. It's your time. It's your time to go deep and to really have and cultivate and create a meaningful practice. All right, so now you guys know who all is in the room, and I think we're all amongst like kind here. And I'm sure other people will be watching along later on. Do your research, get curious. So I'm going to start with the mindset piece. What are you really saying when you tell yourself that you're too busy? So I'm going to read off a few things. I call these self-limiting beliefs that might be holding us back from our highest potential or our highest self. So when you tell yourself you're too busy, and if you hear yourself saying to other people that you're too busy or I'm really busy, catch yourself in that moment and replace that with something else. Just try it out, because we constantly get in this loop, and we're actually telling our subconscious mind that we are actually not scheduling efficiently. Could be one of the things that you're telling yourself. You might be telling yourself, my health is not my biggest priority right now. Maybe other things like vegging out. I totally am guilty of it too. We all have social media. It's veg out time. I need support and accountability to follow through might be what you're actually saying. Like, I can't do this alone, and that's okay. I don't prefer training via a computer screen and have never been successful at it before. Might be what you're saying when you're too busy to join an online community or take that accountability to train in your home. And I'll tell you, I actually do my workouts right there in my living room. This is my home. I live right beneath the Flow Shala. And I go out my mat with a purpose. I step on the mat because I know that I'm going to mitigate the stress response. And we are in a constant, continuous, low-grade stress response throughout our lives, just being on devices, traveling to and fro, being a parent, being high demand at work, being on a computer for long periods of time. And the movement practice, especially when you're practicing flow state and recovery-based training and training with the Mace, is truly the antidote for that, because you're digesting the stress response. You're taking that cortisol, that adrenaline, that epinephrine that's coursing through your bloodstream, and you are metabolizing it so that you can get into parasympathetic nervous system tone, and so that you can actually repair your nervous system. You might be saying, I want results. So when you're saying I'm too busy, I want results, but I don't have a plan that I truly trust will get me there. Anyone resonate with any of these so far? Just give me a quick thumbs up if any of these resonate. I want to continue with my current lifestyle. I'm not ready to make any changes to how I'm living my life. So I work with people on behavioral change, and a big part of training at the Flow Shala is it's not another yoga class. It truly is going deep into our intrinsic motivation of what makes us show up and what makes us embody the lifestyle flow. And we keep it super simple here. Movement, mindset, nutrition, and community. It's being along like-minded people that want to train with these crazy tools. There are a bunch of you guys out there, and you're all around the world. There really is. It's really cool. So I would love for you to write down, what are your top 2 or even 1 negative self-talk statements that you might hear yourself say during the day. So some common things are, gosh, I'm not flexible, or I should be doing XYZ, or I'm not strong enough, or I look down at my tummy and I'm like, oh gosh, where did that come from? What's going on there? I gotta cleanse. I gotta change my eating. I'm gonna stop drinking coffee, stop drinking alcohol, or just doing too much all at once. So write down your top 2 negative self-talk statements. And I'm gonna walk you through how to unwind those. And it starts with awareness. So putting pen to paper is the first thing to do to create awareness around that statement. Ask yourself, are these conscious or unconscious? So if they're unconsciously happening, meaning you have a little inner critic, so prefrontal cortex triggers our inner critic, and what happens is these things go on a loop, and then we go into an unconscious pattern of stating these over and over again. So I want you to quantify by each of those statements, how many times a day would you estimate that it's in your conscious, that you're even conscious of it, and then even unconscious, and just write that number down. Give me a thumbs up if it's like 5 times a day, just give me a thumbs up. How about 10 times a day or more? So here's let's go 5, higher than 5, 5 or higher. Okay, so next thing to do, I want you to think about that statement that comes up in your mind, and I want you to feel in and tune into your energetic field. So you've got your root energetic center, your second chakra, which is your let's go back a little bit, right in here, your core, your third energetic center, your heart, your throat, your third eye space, and your crown. So take a moment to just kind of observe yourself having that statement or that inner critic moment. And then just place a hand on the area that feels constricted or bound when you have that thought. So I usually feel a little bound here. Take a moment to just kind of tune in. So next time you have that thought or self-limiting belief, acknowledge where it lands. And as it lands and it creates constriction in your myofascial matrix or your web of fascia, if you were to quantify that 10 times a day times 7 days a week, every time you have that thought, it is impacting your nervous system in a way that's just slightly quantifiable, where it will start to accumulate that bound energy and that stress energy. So the anecdote to that, there's a body of work, I'll write it in the chat bar here, Byron Katie. Has anyone heard of Byron Katie? Give me a thumbs up. So Loving What Is her one of her books. And I use this often with coaching clients. So ask yourself, is that statement completely and totally true, beyond a shadow of a doubt? Generally, it's not. So if it's not actually 100% true, is it worth continuing to have that play on repeat? So if you can go into that moment, give yourself permission to completely allow yourself to forget that you even had the ability to think that thought, and imagine how you might feel differently. So you can take a moment. If you imagine, obviously we don't have a ton of time, but you can do this in your meditation where you're just giving yourself permission to not be able to even have the ability to think the thought. You might notice the area that was impacted starting to loosen and feel a little bit more open, expansive, and less heavy. And then the second step is to create a mantra. We call them Monday mantras. So every Monday, as you're mapping out your workouts for the week, which Coach Roxanne will show you how to map out your workouts on Sundays, a little trick there. Sunday, map out your next 7 days, pick 3 to 4 Flow Shala workouts and put them on your schedule. So Monday mantra, replace it or flip it into a truth. So if it's, I'm not strong enough or I'm not XYZ, tell yourself the mantra that you want to become. Visualize the warrior that you want to become. I am strong, I am grounded, I am practicing, I'm trying, I'm putting my best effort forward. Make it an active mantra, and then have a little time as you start your mobility warm-up, and we'll go through mobility today, to start repeating that and training your brain to replace that negative self-limiting belief with the new mantra. And then bonus points, if you take 2 actions that further empower that mantra, then you're going to be well on your way to success. Because mantras and affirmations only work when you actually take action. So write down 2 actions that you can take to start proving to your subconscious mind that you are worth it and you are going to work forward in your goals. And whether that means you join the Flow Shala or not, maybe you have another practice, awesome. But my goal is to just help you take a little bit of a step forward into action. Sound good? You guys all resonating so far? Sweet. All right, I just jumping in. Okay, so go ahead and come to standing, and we're going to go through a mobility sequence called Into Flow. And this is designed to help dampen the noise of the nervous system. And mobility is truly, truly king or queen in this case. Got lots of ladies in the room. Hi, Ida. All right, let's start with wrist mobility. So you can come into wrist flexion and extension. And as we're going through this, I'll kind of coach on the why behind mobility and why we start with mobility before entering flow state. Elbow circles, So the whole purpose of our joint mobility is to prime our joints, increase synovial fluid, increase heat. And our fascia is highly innervated. It's going to chasing shoulders. So straight arms, chase the shoulders back one at a time. We'll just do a light little round of into flow because trust me, you'll retain things a lot better if you're actually moving. Next slides, forward and back. So since our fascia, our myofascial matrix is so highly innervated, we feel a somatic response every time we have a thought. So whether it's a good thought or a negative self-limiting belief thought, there is a small little impact on the nervous system. Let's come back to center. Next slide's right on the left. And so our approach is establish mobility first, always, and then start to train the motor patterns with the Mace. Come back to center. Inhale, lift the chin. Exhale, chin down towards the chest. Inhale and exhale. And then come back to center. Let's go into our neck circles. Travel forward with the neck. Travel to your left, back and up, and right. Forward, side, back and up. So as you go through the open chain joint mobility, generally you can identify where your mobility restrictions lie. Switch directions and notice the difference. I see a couple folks doing the big circle. So here we're missing out on a piece called translation. So I encourage you to try the slide and glide forward. Your neck travels forward on a J curve, and then see if you can actually translate, meaning you can slide your discs this way and then back and up. Yes. And then notice how far can you go? It's kind of like you're pushing against a little wall there to restore that neck translation. Nice. Come back to center. So even if your mobility, come to lateral bending, even if your mobility sequence is the only time that you get on your mat, you're still training like a warrior. You don't always need to be swinging a mace or doing something heavy or hard to be restoring your own mobility, your own flow. Last one. Let's come into figure eights. Rotate your chin up towards the ceiling. Chin down, ear down, sweep up. Chin down, ear down, sweep up. Chin down, ear down, sweep up. Last one. And back to center. All right, so go ahead and just rip any stagnant energy away from your heart energetic center. Inhale. On your exhale, shooting around, hollow body, call this gunslinger. Eye on the prize, find that warrior archetype here. Good, inhale, open the heart, extend through the fingertips, and exhale, create a bind, straighten out your elbows all the way, stretch between your shoulder blades. Good, two more, inhale. And exhale, last one, inhale, and exhale. Good, and then come back to center. All right, I'm gonna go to pin video here. Okay, cool. Sweet. Well, hopefully you feel a little bit more warmed up. So the benefits of IntuFlow, go ahead and come on back to your computer if you'd like. I'm gonna go into our gallery view here. So daily IntuFlow, get it dialed into your practice on the days that you don't come to a HIIT class, doing a full body head to toe IntuFlow. If you search Summer Huntington IntuFlow on YouTube, you'll find a free video there. It doesn't have any verbal cueing, but you can check that out. It's just INTU flow. And it allows you to kind of see the areas that you need to work on. So it'll show you, all right, that's where my fascial restriction is. Okay, I really want to focus on that in my workout. So in training your nervous system, quality is more important than your quantity at first. So how we do one thing is how we do everything. And we're training, when we train at the Flow Shala, we're training performance attributes like agility, precision. We're training for balance. We're training a lot of qualitative movement patterns. We're training torque and activation. We're training stability and spatial awareness, especially when you start using your mace and moving this bad boy or bad girl through space. You're really training your ability to sense and have that proprioception of where my mace is. Are my shoulders packed? Is my deep inner core active? Are my glutes firing? We call that the trifecta. So you can get all three of those things active at once, then you've got a full powerhouse. And I'd love to just demo real quick here. So let's say I'm just holding a mace here, I'm holding it passively. So I'm literally balancing the heavy part over the handle. The benefit of the mace is it's top heavy in nature. So in order for me to generate leverage, I have to find a grip confirmation, shoulder pack, external rotation, my glutes are on, my core is on. Roxanne, go ahead and push down at the top of this mace here. So this thing is not going anywhere because I'm firing every stabilizer in my lat, my rotator cuff, my deep inner core, everything to hold that tight. Now watch this. So if I angle the mace like this, now I've created leverage. So now I can maintain that activation. So I've got my external rotators firing, I'm stabilizing, I've got a lot of grip strength to hold it up here. I'm working on developing stability in my rotator cuff, and then exhale, pull it to order. Notice that I had control of the mace the whole entire time. When people first start with the mace, to reach it in a back position, it might look like this. I dump, clunk, I pull out, clunk, okay? So see the difference in the nuance when you're learning new skills. It forces you to tap into different centers of your brain. You're not tuning out and thinking about your grocery list. You're really dialed into what is happening at this present moment. And the mace really allows people to get into flow state quicker because there's a consequence. It's a consequence of potentially getting injured if you do it incorrectly. There's a consequence of dropping it on your toe. There's a consequence of smacking your neighbor or breaking something in your house. So when you have all these consequences, that's really the thing that we're missing in our overly domesticated lives and jobs, is we don't have an actual mental consequence a lot of the time. So your training routine, whether you're doing a morning session or an evening session, can be time for you to play a role, like tap into this warrior archetype that you know is within you, and it will come out naturally. Questions, feedback, stokedness? Well, one-word check-in. Let's just do a one-word check-in with how we're feeling so far. Tammy, Angela, and Laura, one-word check-in.
Cool.
Awesome. Angela.
Motivated.
Sweet. Laura.
Yeah, consequence.
Consequence. Jennifer and Ida.
Mobile.
Cool. Sweet.
That's good.
Ida.
Focus.
Sweet. Amazing. Well, I hope I've inspired you to get some mace in your hands. Now, everyone always asks me, so I'm going to type this in here. The starting pounds. I always recommend a 5 or 7 pound mace, steel mace for women, and a 10 pound mace for men. Steel mace. And people are like, where do I get my mace? You can type, I don't want to glorify any certain websites that have a lot of speedy delivery at places. But you can literally type in steel mace to any search engine and you can find either a local manufacturer, you can find there's Set for Set, there's On It. There's a lot of just no-name brands on certain websites that deliver mass things to people. But just find something that you can get quick. And if you're starting your 21-day reset, you have plenty to work on with just body weight and a broomstick. So if you don't have a mace at home, I highly recommend getting yourself a wooden dowel from your local hardware store and cutting it to be about 3 to 4 feet. This is like 2.5, maybe 3. It's probably 3. But 3 feet's generally plenty. And you can also look at the dimensions. So put your mace order in today, get it ordered, and then as you're waiting for it, use a wooden dowel to practice. And I've seen so much success with people using a wooden dowel or a broomstick or a shovel or a baseball bat or a sledgehammer even. Not even sledgehammer, that's usually the guys. But sledgehammers are awkward, but the other stuff, the dowels are great because there's less of a consequence in it, and you just feel safer and more confident. And then when you get your mace, you're gonna be a rock star. Okay, number 3, know your recovery, HRV. So I wear this little fit device. It's not a Fitbit. You want to? Sweet. So I'm an ambassador for Whoop. I will put that somewhere in our form. It will land in your Google Docs form, but it's also on the website. So HRV is really after you've been training with us for a while. So do your 21-day reset. If you decide you want to do the gold membership after, awesome. It's after you've been training with us for a while, like 3 to 5 to 6 months, and you're ready to take it to the next level. But if you're curious about HRV, this is a device that allows me to track heart rate recovery. So it tells me how recovered my nervous system is to take on strain. And I wear it all the time. I wear it when I sleep, and I have an app that I can pull up and it shows me a little chart, and it's very easy to read. It's red means I'm not recovered at all, and I might be like 50% recovered or lower. Yellow is like 50 to 70% recovered, and then anything like 70 or 80% and above is green. So you want to be in the green. What are the factors that improve your recovery? And recovery is how recovered your nervous system is to take on strain or work. So the things that really impact heart rate recovery are, write these down, hydration. So lots of water. We're drinking our water as we do this little workshop. Embodying wellness. So it's water, it's sleep, and it's alcohol. So recovery, like if you drink 1 glass of beer or wine, whatever, it can slow down your metabolism and your ability to recover. So if you're having a lot of stress in your life and you're going for the quick fix, we've all been there. But when it starts to become a habit of every single night, that's when moderate intensity exercise might be a better way to help you actually digest the stress response. And that's the third thing that really impacts your heart rate recovery is, write this down, moderate intensity exercise. Specifically, the stuff we do here, we train the recovery breath. So when you come into a workout and you're recovering in between rounds, we'll demo. We do the chug breath. So it looks like this. You guys can try it out. You inhale through the nose. Pause, and then you exhale, and you just shake your body like this so that that vibration goes through your myofascial matrix. Try it again, inhale. The pause is important, that triggers parasympathetic, and exhale. So we're trying to increase the oxygen to the brain and the bloodstream, and we're trying to increase the CO2 output. That's why we do 4 sharp exhalations. Scott Sonnen uses this breathing technique in tactical fitness, and it is actually more effective at recovering the nervous system than any other breathing technique that we found that you can actually do in HIIT workouts. Try it out, it's super awesome. It will change your whole perception of fight or flight, and the whole goal is to recognize when your body's going into fight or flight, breathe, pause and assess, train yourself to do that instead of going into amygdala, and then breathe, exhale. All right. Cool. I have a couple breathing tactics on here. We don't have a ton of time for both, so I'm going to choose one. I'm going to choose the 4-7-8 breath for meditation. So Dr. Andrew Whale is a wellness practitioner, and I believe he's either a naturopathic physician. He's a pretty well-known guy in the wellness industry. 4-7-8 breath, super simple. You can try it out here. So it's a 4-count inhale, 7-count pause, suspend the breath, seal the glottis, tone your bandhas, and then an 8-count exhale through the nose or the mouth. Let's try it again. Keep exhaling, keep exhaling, keep exhaling. And then inhale, 4 counts in, a long pause. The pause in yoga is called the kumbhaka. It triggers the parasympathetic nervous system to come online. And then a long 8-count exhale. So you can keep doing that as I continue to lecture if you'd like. The 4-7-8 breath, we recommend doing 10 minutes of daily meditation and journaling every single day so that you can start tuning into your internal dialogue. So we recommend when you're journaling, feel free to write this down. This is covered in your 21-day reset manual that you'll receive if you decide you want to do the program. It's 21 days of unlimited classes. And you get 2 check-ins. So you get a 9-day check-in and a day 18 check-in with a coach. Our coaches are all trained in behavioral change. So on day 9, if you're struggling with getting scheduling in, they will help you. All you have to do is show up and turn your computer on, and we'll take care of the rest. You'll be feeling amazing afterwards. And then day 21, you get a transformation coaching session, which is a program I designed to help people set midterm and long-term goals around movement, mindset, nutrition, and reverse engineer your success to the goals. So in all of the programs we coach at Shala, feel free to write this down if you're new. Emotional check-in. What are my most dominant emotions that I'm feeling right now? Drop the story. Just be specific with what are the top emotions you're feeling. A physical body check-in. Am I sore? Am I menstruating? Am I tired? So what does your physical body check-in feel like? 3 things to release and 3 things to manifest for the day. And if you're consistent with that, what it does is it starts to allow you to shift your subconscious beliefs. So when you put pen to paper and you start to come into contact of what you're thinking, what you're feeling, throughout the day, you're going to make small little adjustments, micro adjustments that add up to a big result. And the final piece, I'm going to share a 2-minute video that truly does show embodying the warrior mindset and Flow State. This is an event that I curated here in Bellingham called Flow State Summit, and I had a bunch of flow specialists come here to a big property that I have. And I have a tiny home at, and it's a festival grounds, and it's just a beautiful event, and you'll see it on people's faces, the warrior mindset. Okay, so just give me 1 second to go into my screen share. Don't mind my millions of tabs. Woo. Okay, play. It's going big. Got a little circus element too. There's those warriors. Here, focus. Go. Yo, the mace. Look at their eyes. This is warrior archetype right here, baby. Me too. So being a warrior can be that fierceness, but it also can be gentle. And it can be knowing when to implement your strength and your grace. And really being able to harness your own power and use it when you need it. Use it when the situation requires it. This Coach Charlene. She trains at the Coach Charlene. Let's talk about a flow state juggling on this strap. All right. So hopefully my YouTube didn't go away. 1 second. Mark Wildman's YouTube's gonna take it over.
Yeah.
Okay, I do need to pull up a document so that Coach Charlene can go into her
Or Coach Roxanne.
Roxanne. Did I say what did I
You
say?
said Coach Charlene.
Charlene. Wow, I got
She's
Charlene
like
on
my
the brain.
sister, so
So which is the document that you need? Is it the member
I
streaming
need
schedule?
the member streaming schedule and then the 21-day reset workbook.
Okay, cool. The 21-day reset manual. I have a billions of tabs. So I'll just hang out with you guys. 21-day reset manual.
Yep.
Cool. All right. Sweet. What'd you guys think of the video? Pretty cool? Pretty crazy? You guys, when COVID ends, we're going to have another big adult play retreat. It's going to be awesome. You guys will be ready. Okay, so we're going to go into screen share. We only have 15 minutes, so Charlene's going to do her best to tell you guys how to register for classes. This is a problem with me leading these workshops. I always go over. So
It's okay.
if you need to leave right at the time, she might go a little bit over, but I'll be hanging out too and helping. So we'll do share screen. And do you want to start with the manual?
I'm going to start with getting onboarded. So
Okay.
the other one. Cool. We are screen sharing now. So can you guys see the screen?
I'll be your assistant.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah.
All right. So with your 21-day reset, the first thing you'll do is download the Mind Body app, find Shala. If you're local, you can just set your location settings. If you're remote, just look for Shala, find it, and then favorite it. I think you put a heart, you click the heart, so it will always be at the top. That's what you're going to look for on Sundays when you're setting up your schedule for the week. You'll register for your classes in the Mind Body app. Then when it's time for classes, you will go to your members streaming class schedule that will be in your onboarding email. You guys should have gotten that if you signed up for the 21-day reset project. You'll come here and about 5 to 10 minutes before class, log in. So you'll click on whatever class you want, and it will take you to the Zoom link. It'll open up Zoom, and boom, you're in your virtual class. Make sure that your space is set up before you log in. We want to take that 5 minutes to check in with you. So we would love to hear from you, how you're doing, where you're at in your practice. So as you are setting up your week, you'll want to follow a 4-day wave. There's some information. Let's see. I'm going to go show you the 21-day reset manual. We'll get to the 4-day, more details into what the 4-day wave is. But I love this image. It just kind of shows the places you're going to want to be most focused on getting into a class or working your wave is a moderate intensity, 2 moderate intensities back to back, or a mod and a high intensity back to back. Unless you've been training for a long time, I wouldn't recommend 2 highs back to back. So mod and high. You're training your heart rate for recovery, and you're training the movement patterns in the mod class, and then the high class, you're really performing. So in order to find those classes on the schedule, I'm going back to our spreadsheet. You're going to look for the orange classes. Those are our conditioning classes. Those are going to give you a moderate to high level of workload. No, I'm going to kick it. After your high class, highly encourage you to either recover at home or take one of our low to moderate intensity classes. Our recovery classes are in the green. So we've got recovery classes every single day, and we've got a couple of different conditioning classes every day. So as you're setting up, sometimes it helps to have this in front of you, and then going into your Mind Body app on your phone and then scheduling your classes. It's just a little bit more of a visual, so you can kind of map things out. Any questions on that? So that's how you get set up and get started with classes. To get set up and started with your reset, on top of all the things that Summer has reviewed with us, we're going to go over a couple more little nuances. So a lot of this is going to be a review of what Summer just went over.
We also have other recordings too of just a strict orientation, which we could send out. That's that might be helpful too.
Yeah. So most of what you need to get started is in this workbook. I really love to just highlight a couple of specific things. Step 1, plan your workouts. We just talked about that. Step 2, commit to daily meditation. Summer talked about that, at least 10 minutes a day. If you have to split it up, 5 minutes in the morning, 5 minutes in the evening, just showing up for meditation is a success. Let that be enough, especially for these first 3 weeks. We're practicing consistency. Make sure you attend your accountability meeting. If you have not scheduled your accountability meeting with a coach, let me know, put it in the chat bar, reach out to us. We'll get that scheduled, but you'll want to do that after your first week is complete. And then step 4, track your workouts and meet with your accountability coach. So show up for those accountability meetings. They really matter, and they can make the difference between you being successful and maybe not feeling successful. So tracking your workouts, let's just scroll down real quick. If you'd like to take measurements, if that's part of your practice, you can do so here. And there's some information here about tracking. And then take some time before you get started to go through this little inventory of where you're at in getting ready to start your challenge. We kind of went over some of that already. And here's a little reminder of how to set up your goals, physical goals, emotional goals, nutrition goals.
Make them small.
Yeah.
Tiny goals, make them achievable.
We've got 3 weeks to start working on it. So yeah, start small. I tell people really it's about consistency more than looking at results in the first 3 weeks. Your results are going to come a little bit farther down the line. We already talked about these things that are non-negotiables, practices that can change your life, the journal entry, Summer went over that, attending your 3 workouts a week here at the Flow Shala. And then calculating your heart rate. We talked a little bit about heart rate recovery. Knowing what your heart rate is doing in your classes is really important. You can take a look here to figure out your maximum heart rate. It's 220 minus your age. That's your maximum. We want to try and keep it between 70, 75, 80, or 85, depending on where you're at in your 4-day wave.
And at first, when you come to class, just take, your coach will cue you to take a heart rate at the end. So generally we'll just count it for 15 seconds. You just count every beat and then you'll have that, she'll show you how to record that. Don't worry about trying to get in the heart rate zones, just track what's happening.
Yeah.
And over time, it's just building that awareness of where your heart rate is so that you can start to self-regulate a little bit more and your workouts will become more meaningful to you.
Thank you. Yeah, so as you're tracking your workouts, you'll be taking your heart rate and then you'll be taking a little self-evaluation of how you felt like you did. So we're gonna, you'll take a look at your perceived rate of exertion, perceived rate of, perceived technique, and your perceived discomfort. So your exertion, depending on where you're at in your flow, your 4-day wave, you want it to be between 6, 8, 9, 10 is like, I don't know, perfection. I'm usually somewhere between 6 and 8, depending on where I'm at in my wave. Your technique, you always want to try and keep that between 6 and 10, 6 and 9. If you are falling below that, if you really feel like you're struggling with your technique, go back to a more foundational movement. We offer, all our coaches offer foundational movements and then we add on. So if we have added on something in the workout that is just like, feels like it's too much, back it down. We'd rather have you moving consistently and powerfully than going beyond where you're ready and having injury and also not feeling successful.
Yeah, so just listen to your coaches. They'll always say, this is level 1, this is level 2, this is level 3, the exercise. And generally, if you're in the 21-day reset, start with level 1 of everything and then progress eventually to level 2, maybe by the end of the reset. But those foundational movements, the level 1, are there to help you develop the motor control patterns to generate stability, torque, and spinal alignment. And if the HIIT classes or the orange classes seem like too much, just start with just purely green. Like start with all the recovery classes at first, and you're going to learn a lot about how your body moves.
Yeah, I agree.
And where do we track it? Tracking. So
one more thing to think about is your rate of perceived discomfort. So you want to keep your discomfort between 1 and 4, not going over a 5. If you start feeling yourself holding your breath, you've gone beyond the training zone. We want you to be able to move, to breathe smoothly and powerfully through your workout. And also if there's any like actual pain happening, we don't want that. So again, try and keep that discomfort between, probably 2 and 4, 2 and 5. And you'll track that every week. On these handy dandy pages at the very end of your manual. So we're just going to look at this example of a 4-day wave for beginners. Each day, again on Sunday, you're going to plan out your week. Take a moment to figure out what days will be your no intensity, low intensity, moderate intensity, and you can follow this wave if you're a brand new beginner. And you can start your no intensity day on any day that works, just trying to keep that wave going from no, low, mod, and then recover. And then at the end of every workout, you'll track your rate of perceived exertion, RPE, rate of perceived technique, RPT, and rate of perceived discomfort, RPD. Note down if you meditated that day or if you, when you meditate, you can jot it down. And then your heart rate is right here. So just sometimes it's just easier to write down that initial count and then do your math on this page. So sometimes I do
literally print this out for the next 21 days. Have it with you in your car when you go, if you're coming to the studio and doing it, or if you're doing it at home, put it in your workout zone. Make yourself a little altar, put all your workout equipment there, make it exciting, make yourself stoked, put your manual there, and you'll have a full 3 pages filled out of something. And if you don't do anything, put the why. Like you start to become aware of what was my barrier that day. Was it time? Was I telling myself one of those self-limiting beliefs that I'm, too busy? And then you'll start to create awareness that you can actually be successful.
Yeah. So most likely everybody will be doing something something similar to this beginner's wave. There's an example of an intermediate wave here, if you'd like to take a look at it. And for advanced movers, we have an example of an advanced training plan. So here's your blank pages. You're going to start with that mindset, that emotional, physical check-in, 3 things to release, 3 things to manifest. And you can do it all in one page for 1 week, or if you have a separate journal, you can just have this as your cue and then write your answers in your journal. Create that mantra that's going to see you through the week powerfully. And then here is your week 1 movement practice prescription, week 2 and week 3. So that's it, in a very quick nutshell. That's our our manual. That's getting set up, and we've got 4 minutes to answer any questions that you guys have. Stop share. And I would love to hear from you guys. What is your next action step? What did you learn, and what's your next action step?
Sweet. Let's start with, let's start,
Top left.
I learned that I need a steel mace. And
right. Great conversation starter. When you have a mace in your living room and people come over, yeah, it's great.
I have a set of these that's not quite as imposing, I guess. And I already did my next step. I've signed up for classes.
Woo! Get it.
Got it. Awesome.
Sweet. We're stoked to have you. I teach Tuesdays 5:30 p.m. So work up to that class. It's a butt kicker.
I teach Mondays at 5:30. So it's a little less of a butt kicker.
More gentle, but still a butt kicker.
Still butt kicker. All right. Thank you, Tammy. Angela, you next, and then Jennifer.
Well, I've done the 21-day reset before, which I totally recommend it for anyone who's on the fence about it. But I'm reminded of the importance of the mindset shift. So my next step is scheduling in the daily meditation and check-ins as I'm currently kind of ramping back up in my classes as well.
Awesome. Awesome. Glad to support you in that. Way to go. Jennifer.
I do have a steel mace and club bells and a yoga mat. Right now I am living at my boyfriend's apartment, which is very close to my new job. So I'm having a hard time figuring out where I'm going to do this. Probably going to be in the middle of the kitchen. That's the only hardwood floor. So that's my first problem to my first challenge. My next step is printing the manual and planning out my week.
Awesome.
Yeah, so because if I have a plan, then I'm better about, I don't have to think about it when I get up. Just get up and do it,
Just pick 3. I recommend people picking 3 of the orange and just try to pair 2 back to back whenever possible, and at least 1 green every single week. And the sweet spot is really 3 strength and 1 recovery. And then do something active or do mobility into flow on those days that you're not training. That's kind of the sweet spot for most people. If you have injury or you're coming from a lot of injury or you're in like acute pain, then you'll want to flip that to be more like 3 greens and 1 strength. Just for people that are watching this for later on, I'm putting it on the YouTube as well.
Okay.
Thanks, Jennifer.
Thank you.
Yeah.
All right, and Laura.
I learned that I should take the green classes, and I've been phone tagging with Rena, and I'm not quite clear if the 21 days like started when I bought the package or when it starts and all that stuff. So I got to talk to her.
I think it starts today generally. So this is our orientation that kicks it off. So anybody that's bought their package, the 21-day reset, if you're on this call, there's a $10 off code. It's just 10 off, all caps, the number 10 and off. And then I'll show, well, it's just, if you go to the front page of flowshala.com, you can just click the button and get yourself set up. So we don't start your package until orientation day. So you buy it online, but then we put it into my body and trigger it to start today. So it's 21 days from today, and your coach will definitely get in touch with you for accountability in the meantime.
Do you know how we get, can you tell us how we get to the recorded ones?
We don't provide recorded ones until you're a member. So all
Oh.
ones are live at first. So there's 25 class offerings a week. And we really want, the reason we do that is because we know that you'll stay for the whole workout if you come to a live class. Our coaches will keep you accountable for that entire hour. And our coaches give you actual visual accountability where they coach your form. So it's just like if you were to come to the studio, it's just like if you were to come to the studio in person, you actually are responsible for coming to the whole class. And then we have, when you become a member, if you decide to keep going, we give the last 2 weeks of recorded classes are always available. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it does. It's just hard. I have time zone problems with the green classes, so I'm gonna have a problem.
Well, we'll work with you on that. So if let's stay on a little bit after the call when we're done with the screen share, and let's troubleshoot that a bit, okay? Yeah.
Thanks.
Yeah.
Any final questions before we sign off? For me or for Summer?
Sure.
Jennifer.
I couldn't find, I thought that Elise said that she had sent me the manual to print before tonight, and I couldn't find it today in my email.
I'll resend it to you.
That'd be great.
Yeah.
From Roxanne.
Roxanne.flowshala.
Okay, great. Thank you.
Sometimes, so we put you into a like a mailing list for just the 21-day reset so that it comes automatically, but sometimes it goes into people's spam for some reason. So
yeah,
if your spam, there's definitely an onboarding email that likely got sent out.
Okay.
We'll send it to you manually as well.
Okay. Okay. Thank you.
Any other specific questions? Cool. So I'd recommend going onto Mind Body and reading the full descriptions. That Excel spreadsheet does not do the classes justice.
Yeah.
You'll learn about the coach. You'll see their biography. All of our coaches have multiple certifications. They're body workers, or they are TACFit, FlowFit, Kinesiolyoga, Steel Mace, Vinyasa. We really are curating a movement practice, and the coaches just have a lot to share on anatomy, alignment, biomechanics. So do get curious about what coaches resonate with you. Attend different classes, attend a variety. Coach Brooke, who teaches foundations class or foundation training, that's one of the green classes. She is a structural, she does structural integration and body work, and it's a great place for people that are starting with pain. I always recommend going to foundations. In the event that you do have a time zone issue and you need to get access to recorded classes, we can set that up for you. It's just on a case-by-case basis because we really want to encourage people to come to the live classes as well. So just reach out if you need extra support. And our team, we have a team of Brenna, Roxanne, and Elise, and they're always on top of just getting accountability sessions scheduled. And they work Monday through Friday generally. We don't have a lot of admin staff here on the weekends. So on the weekends, come to class, use the Zoom schedule, and then bring all your questions for Monday and our team will get back to you. You guys stoked? You pumped? Awesome. Well, I'm so excited to welcome you to our Shala fam. Have fun with it. Meet yourself where you're at and just work on positive self-talk. Every time you come to class, you're going to learn a little something and you're going to feel a little bit better than you did when you got onto your mat. So just take your time and just know that Rome wasn't built in a day, and this is a long-term sustainable practice that's going to really inspire you to just embody that inner warrior. And I'm excited for you guys. Sweet. Okay, I'm going to stop recording and we'll do some private questions after this. Thanks, guys.
Thank you.